Hey guys, Matt here with Superior Underwriting, and we're going to be going over how to get your first midterm rental property. Midterm rentals is kind of my specialty. I'm out in Ohio here. We have 46 midterm rental units that we operate like as an extended stay hotel. And I thought I'd spend some time and go over how to get your first midterm rental property as one of the newer real estate investment strategies available today. Okay. So first, we're going to be going over how to get your first midterm rental property, and then we're actually going to underwrite a deal that I found. It's random property in Columbus, 3 unit. We're actually going to go over the numbers and see whether or not it would make a good midterm rental property. All right. So first, it must also. Oh, I didn't capitalize the L. I'm sorry. So the property must also work as a long-term rental. The medium-term rentals is literally just icing on the cake. It's sucking income out, additional income out of the property. Do not buy a property if the numbers do not work long term. A lot of people on the Airbnb platform right now are getting screwed over. They bought, especially single family homes that don't cash flow on a long term basis, only cash flow as short term rentals or medium term rentals. And now they're running into situations where cities are banning medium term rentals, or maybe there's just a lot of supply that's hitting the market. A lot of people are picking up property around the area, converting it to short-term rentals, and these people, competition's getting high, and now these people are unable to convert their property to long-term rentals without operating in the negative on a monthly basis. So make sure the property must work long-term. Okay. Number two is you got to find the property. You got to pick your market. Hopefully it's a market around you. If not, if you're from me, like if you're like me, I was from SoCal, so I had to move across the country to start picking up real estate. I bought my first property. I had to move from Southern California, Orange County, to Cincinnati, Ohio. But hopefully, you can invest near you. You got to find your property. You got to keep looking. You got to keep underwriting. You got to keep running the numbers. So, I mean, underwriting is a very complex way, an overly complex way of saying you find the expenses, you find the income, you subtract them from each other, and you figure out how much the property is going to make. We do that on spreadsheets and things like that, but you can do it by hand, you can do it with a calculator, but you got to figure out what are the income, what's the income of the property, what's the expense of the property. Now you're going to have to do both. You're going to have to underwrite it long term, and if it works long term, chances are you'll make pretty good money medium term. So I would focus on finding a property that works long term, and then you can take a look at it medium term. Okay, so, and we're going to be going over an example. I'm not just here just to read off the screen. We'll be going over example. Next is furnishing costs. I guess this should be probably furnishing slash renovation costs. So furnishing costs is about, I don't want you guys to think renovation cost is 2K per unit, but furnishing cost is around 2K per unit. Renovation cost is something you're going to want to talk with a contractor about before you close on a property. So just so you know how much a project is going to cost you: down payment, closing costs, renovation costs. Your 3 big ticket items when closing on a property: down payment, closing costs, renovation costs. Once you add up those 3 numbers, you know how much it's going to cost to get the property to stabilize. And then you also have a furnishing cost. So furnishing is about $2,000 per unit. Okay, that's give or take. Everyone argues with me about this. Some people say that's way too much. Some people are telling me that's way too little. But from all the apartments and homes that I furnished, it's between $1,500 to $3,000 per room. That doesn't mean you're spending $3,000 on the room, but a 2 bedroom apartment or a 2 bedroom house is likely going to cost you $6,000. That's heavily dependent on the square footage. So you could have a 2 bedroom house that's 2,000 square feet. That's definitely going to cost you more than $6,000. But if you have a 2 bedroom house that's 1,100 square feet or 1,300 square feet, like an apartment, then yeah, you could definitely do it for under $6,000. So it really depends on the property and what's going on. This is just a rule of thumb so you can kind of get an idea what's going on. And then the next one is management. Management's tricky in the midterm rentals because most cities don't have midterm rental property management companies. The short-term property management companies are trying to charge you 25%. And the long-term ones won't take something like this. So those are really the 4 steps to getting your first midterm rental property. This is usually the hardest one where everyone gets stuck on, where you have to find the property and see whether or not does it make you money, does it not make you money. the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. It's just getting your reps in on a daily basis. So every day, try to analyze property. That's what I like to do. I'll literally just go to Zillow, Redfin, whatever, and just look up property and see if the numbers work long term, short term. All right. So first, we're going to be going over this property here, 1339 Newberry Street in Columbus. I don't know. I'm not too familiar with the area. I invest nearby in Dayton, but I'm not too familiar with this area. I just thought I'd grab a property. It looks like it's a turnkey triplex, 3 units. Turnkey means there shouldn't be very little to no renovations needed. I don't know if it's going to come furnished or this is just like a furnishing company. No, it's not coming furnished. That's just a staging company, it looks like. But yeah, you got some great amenities in there, and we're going to see whether or not this property works as a long-term / short-term or medium-term rental. So I already ran some of the numbers here to save you guys some time. They listed it for $475, but that's high in my opinion. So I ran it at $425. So the reality is this number right here, I mean, you'll learn the more and more you get into real estate that this is a suggestion. It really, the market, you as the buyer, you decide what this property's worth and you make that offer. And if someone's willing to pay more than you, then it's going to be, they get the property. So you're going to put your opinion on what you think the property should sell for. And so what I do is I take a number between, near this, and I underwrite it and I see whether or not it makes sense at all, or the property doesn't need to drop. So I took it at 425, 3 units, 141 per unit. So yeah, your closing costs estimate around 8,500. So remember, cash to close is always down payment plus closing costs plus repair. So I have long-term here, midterm here, kind of side by side. So the acquisition is almost exactly the same, other than you're going to need more cash for repair / furnishing. Probably add that in there. So this one just has more because you're going to furnish it. You're also going to want to spend a little more. They're a bit more picky. So you're probably going to want to spend. This one, I'd expect maybe 4,000 to 5,000 per unit in furnishing, maybe more, maybe less. Furnishing the whole thing, you can buy in bulk and things like that. So here you have the gross income. Long-term rents are 1,400 per unit, give or take. Midterm rents are around 2,000 per unit. I found these by searching the area. Like I'm looking for comparables in the area. I literally Googled apartments for rent in the zip code, 2-bedroom apartments for rent in the zip code, and I did my research, and then I picked the rate I felt comfortable at. Don't overcomplicate this, guys. So we have the gross rents, and this is the annual right here, and it's and then for midterm, it's about 2,000 per month. Same thing. Went to Furnish Finder, put in the dates, went to Airbnb, put in multiple months because Airbnb will tell you the monthly rate. And I'm pretty confident I could rent this each one of these units out for 2,000 per month. Vacancy is a little higher here, and then I went in and I entered the income. A lot of this is from personal experience because I've underwrote a lot. Shameless plug, we do underwrite for others. So if you have a deal and you want to make sure that the numbers work out, we will take a second look at it. Me and a couple of other investors, we do offer underwriting as a service. The link is in the description below if you're looking to have one of us look at the deal for you before you pull the trigger. So here we do have advertising, gas, electric, insurance, cleaning, attorney fees. Like we go all the way down on all the fees that we expect. Because this is only 3 units, there isn't too many fees. There's no, garage fees. There's no, this. It's a lot shorter. If we were looking at a 40, 50, 100 unit building, the numbers, we'd have a lot more expenses here. But for the triplex, these are the kind of expenses I would expect. So there's, if you notice, 50%, very good rule of thumb. I like using the 50% of the income is going to be expenses, not including the debt. So operating expenses. So you're gonna make your net operating income on the long term 21,000, on the medium term 32,000. So those are your expenses. So you're gonna be making around an extra 6K for medium term, 25,917 long term versus 31,921 medium term. Now you have your debt service. Every year you're paying $23,551 in your debt service, your mortgage. At a 6.25 interest rate, now this is highly negotiable based on what you can get from the bank, where the Fed is. So this is very, very, very individualized right here, this interest rate. And these, the amount you can get over the amortization right there. I'm also going to link this spreadsheet in the description below. So if you want to play around with the numbers and all that, you can. And this is your cash flow here. So you can expect on a long term to make $2,366 per year. So this is almost exactly $200 per month in cash flow on the long term. And then you're expected to make $8,370 per year in cash flow on the medium term, which is $700-800 a month, medium term. It's lower than I was hoping, especially for that area. I mean, it's a C plus area, so I expect higher returns than that. The property is in good shape. It looks like, at least from here. Obviously, but keep in mind we're already talking about a $50,000 discount, and it's the numbers aren't great, and we're already talking about $50,000 discount. And you can play around with this if you take this to 400. So I'm going to see where the numbers work out. Still, I'd want to see at least a 10 here down. I'm going to have to go down to 450 or 350. Yeah, even then. So I'm likely going to be between 325 and 350 if I were to make an offer on this deal. I'm not, but I doubt they'll be moving that much, and it's not typically where I buy. But yeah, I'd be closer to the 325 to 350. So that's what I mean by the buyer decides the price. I don't know. Maybe someone is willing to pay 475 for this property and is okay with the lower returns. But personally, this doesn't meet my individual metrics here for cap rate and debt service coverage ratio. I usually prefer things a little higher, especially smaller properties. In C plus areas, I expect 10 plus cap rate. So yeah, you're just gonna do, and then once at some point you're gonna underwrite the property, and the numbers are gonna be good. You're gonna get excited, or the numbers are gonna be good at a slight discount. So you're gonna go like, all right, let's say this number. Hopefully, you find a deal like this. Numbers work at 450. So you're gonna go in and I'm gonna submit an offer for 450. When people tell me, oh, there are no deals on the MLS, there are no deals on the MLS. At that price point, maybe not. But you got to negotiate. Just a couple days ago, someone listed a 10 unit for 600, and we got it under contract at 540. At 540,000, that 10 unit is a great deal. But at 600, it was okay. It needs work. So the point is, practice underwriting, practice figuring out what the long-term rents are, short-term rents are, long-term, short-term expenses. Really run the numbers on as many deals as possible. Because first of all, that gets you better on running the numbers. And second of all, it gets you closer to finding your first deal. So yeah, guys, get out there, look for the deal. If you find something and you're still not 100% sure and you want us to take a second look at it, you can absolutely submit your deal in the link below, and we'll take a look at your deal. But I mean, midterm, it's here to stay. Even more and more millennials, Gen Zs are talking about how they prefer to rent apartments furnished now, even for long-term rentals. So I definitely think over the long term, 10, 15, 20-year horizon, midterm rentals are just going to grow and it's going to soar. So this is a good time to get in while it's still young, but you just got to learn to underwrite. You got to learn to run the numbers, and you got to get comfortable analyzing deals. So absolutely, guys, if you guys have any questions, you guys can comment them below. I'll be answering all the comments. Subscribe. And if you guys have a deal that you're interested in and want us to take a look at, absolutely. Submit your deal below. Thanks.